Welcome to the Queer Confidence Podcast, the podcast to help you become your most confident queer self. I'm your host, he, she, they, Coach Alex Ray, and I haven't always been this confident. In fact, I used to be super insecure. And through this show, I want to share with you what's worked for me, my clients, and my guests so that you can become more confident. Hello, my unicorns. Ooh. Have you just been enjoying this series? I sure have. As I said at the beginning, I listened back to all of these recordings and took some notes on them and everything so that I could do these in-between recordings for you. And I just needed it. I so appreciate all these different life lessons. Like, hearing them back is the reminders that I have needed today and will continue to need always, I'm sure. So this is part 4 of the series, right? We've got one more episode left, but that's going to be an entirely fresh episode that I'm going to record here all in San Diego and share with you just some updates, and we're going to talk about evolving through discomfort, because that really has been ultimately the theme of this trip. So before I get ahead of myself, table that. Bleh. Not important. Today, I've got 3 different recordings for you from the road and my time here in San Diego. So enjoy. Wait, final little observation probably. I think it's going to be my final little observation from day 2 of driving. I've gotten to have some really great quality one-on-one time with my dad yesterday, and really great quality one-on-one time with my mom today. And I was telling my mom, I was like, when we were like headed into dinner, I'm like, I am so glad that both of you came on this trip, and I'm so glad we ended up getting 2 vehicles, because I've never had, not in my adult life, I have never spent like this much time with either of my parents one-on-one, just having conversation. And we have been talking about the neatest things. Like, I don't know, like my dad, what did we talk about? We talked about like, his and our relationship, how, my childhood. I guess that's the theme with both of them. We talked about my childhood and, what it was like for him as my dad raising me, and, struggles and fears that he went through. And, oh my God, I'm feeling really emotional as I'm saying this. Wow. Just that he's such a human. He's such a human too. And I think we all have a tendency to forget our parents' humanity. And we expect them to do things perfectly. And I don't know about you, but I've never given my parents this opportunity. I have never sat down with them and just been like, hey, I'm so curious what your perspective was raising me. How was that for you? How did that go? What did you enjoy? What did you not enjoy? What were your fears? What were you, what was going through your mind? I'm so thankful that we've had this opportunity and that he was willing to share these things with me. And he shared things that he regretted about his relationship with his dad. And it was neat because I was like, you know what? I see how you did a better job, how you made purposeful time to be around and with me as a kid. And I hated you when I was a kid. I was really kind of, I know I pushed you away, especially in my teen years. I didn't want to be around you, Dad, but I'm really thankful that you were there and you were present, because not everyone has that. And I know that a lot of my friends did not have their dad around as much as I did. Was he around all the time? No. But there was we used to do this like backpacking group once a month, and it was just boys and dads, and most of the boys, their dads didn't come to it, but my dad did, to almost every single trip. I think he might have missed 2 in the like 6 years I did it. And that's really impressive. And I told him, I was like, hey, you know, you might have been a jerk sometimes, but at least you were around, because I knew you were present, and not everyone had that, so thank you. So I'm just curiously, you know, in all of your parents' shortcomings, is there anything that you can find that you're actually pretty thankful for, that might have gone okay, or even perhaps well, and might even have taught you something that has carried into your adult life and been a benefit for you? My mom and I, we talked about her fears raising me. My mom is a college graduate. She has a degree in international business. She was like in the business world. Funny story, all my clocks have always been set to military time since I was like 8 years old, because when I was 8, my mom told me, because I got this little spy watch. Was anyone else into spy gear? Oh my god, I was obsessed. So I got this spy watch, and it could do 12-hour and 24-hour time on it. And I was like, I don't understand how to tell 24-hour time, Mom. I don't get military time, right? And she goes, well, you better, because the business world does military time. You have to be able to know military time to make it in the business world. And I was like, oh. I set my clock to 24-hour time and have used it ever since. Every phone I have ever owned. Actually, is that true? There might have been one phone I owned that didn't do military time. Like, the first phone I had, some kind of like ancient device, fossilized. But every phone, other than maybe one, has always been in military time. Every digital clock I've had, military time. My calendar, military time. It drives people crazy, and not me. I love it. So anyway, that's a funny story. Business mom, right? Okay, so she was like she was doing the damn thing in the corporate world and everything. She works for some big companies, doing some big shot shit, and then she was not planning to be a stay-at-home mom. I didn't know that. I just found that out a few hours ago, that she actually wanted to stay working, and through a series of events, it ended up that she went back to work for a time and ended up having to come back home to take care of me, and then changed her mind and decided that she wanted to sacrifice her desire to be working to be at home with me. And it was so neat to just hear my mom's human story of raising me, and all her fears and insecurities too, and of being a stay-at-home mom, and how she like didn't really want to do that. And I'm like, what? Wait, like you chose to be uncomfortable and do something you didn't want to do just to raise me? Like, because you thought it would be in my best long-term interest? Like, what? How did I miss this memo? I had no idea, y'all. I had no idea that's why she stayed home with me. So I say all this to, one, boast about my parents a little bit. They're pretty damn cool, and I've never given them credit. Not like this. And two, to challenge you. I bet you that no matter how horrible your relationship is with your parents, that if you were to have the opportunity, if you were to choose to create the opportunity to sit down with your parents and talk to them like a human, to ask them questions, to get really curious and hear their perspective of raising you. I have no doubt in my mind, my friend, that your relationship with them would change. And no matter how bad your relationship is with them, something will shift and you will feel better about it. Now, they might still be jerks. I don't know. They might be. Very possible. But something's going to shift for you. And you're going to find some relief that you never really knew was available to you or possible. And even if you don't communicate with them more, you will be a lighter human because you will have less of that weighing on you. Whew. What a story. What a story. All right. That's it. Whew. I still think back to the trip with a lot of fondness. I really appreciate all the time that my parents and I got to spend together on the road and even here, even though we did have some conflict here, and that's all right. I really appreciate that I got to move this way. And I know not everyone has parents so supportive. I really have taken it for granted for a long time. So Mom and Dad, thank you so much. I really love you and I really appreciate you. I told them that in person too, of course. But I also wanted to just put it here in the podcast forever. Apparently after day 2 of driving, I just was done giving lessons, I guess. I don't know. Because that's it for recordings from the road. The next recording that you're going to hear is my very first night here in San Diego and sort of my reflections as I laid there in bed. So enjoy night 1 in San Diego. First night in San Diego. Oh, I'm laying here in bed now. Gideon is under the covers. He let himself under there. And he's just cuddled up on the pillow. He only sleeps up on the pillow when he's ridiculously tired, y'all. Otherwise, he sleeps down around my feet. It's so funny. I can tell how exhausted he is based on where he decides to go to sleep. I am not here to give any kind of big lesson right now. I just want to point out something I'm really proud of myself for and that I think we all could be doing more of. My entire journey, I wasn't sure if I was going to be on Instagram and kind of sharing the journey as I went or what. And I have made like 1, maximum 2 posts on my story a day, just of like, hey, we're in this state. I really feel like in many ways I have I share so much of my life on Instagram and I love sharing with you all and I love having you be part of my life. And then sometimes there are some big deal things where it's like, I just want to experience it in the moment. And I personally have a very difficult time sharing and living in the moment at the same time. And I think most people do. I don't know. I've never heard anyone say that they actually feel like they live in the moment really well while they're also sharing to social media. But I definitely don't. And most people I know also do not. We all could spend a little more time just living in the moment and experiencing the experience instead of documenting it. Documenting it is awesome. And it's so fun to share it with those we love and care about. But sometimes you just gotta freaking live your life. And that's really where memories are created, you know, when we are just on Instagram or social media sharing our life constantly, I think we miss out on getting to have the fullness of the emotional experience. It's kind of like we emotionally regulate with the sharing and we miss out on creating the memory because memories aren't created with facts in our brain. Memories are created by the emotions we feel in the moment. We remember how we felt more than anything. That's why every time you recall a memory, it can change a little bit, because depending on how you feel when you're remembering it, you will reinterpret that memory in a slightly different way each time. Isn't that cool? Look it up if you don't believe me. Don't Google search what happens to memories every time you bring them back up. All right, y'all. Have a fabulous, I almost said evening, but it's evening for me. I don't know what time it is for you. Thanks for being on this journey with me, and I'm sure I will have a few more of these. I don't know, but just wanted to do one quick one right now and share that observation. I love that challenge for you, and I hope that you'll take that on today to challenge yourself to really live in the moment and to be present. And sometimes that might mean an adjustment in social media or any number of other things. What is it for you? Only you know that off the top of your head right now. There's something in your life that's taking you out of the present moment and become a real distraction for you. And so how do you want to commit to adapting your relationship with that thing today so that you can experience life? We really only have our experiences, right? Like when we die, nothing else comes with us, just our life experiences. And so I think that is the most valuable, the most treasured thing that we can possibly have and create as humans is experiences. And so I really just want for you to have that blessing of being present and being in the moment and feeling it. All right, this last recording is after I dropped my parents off at the airport. I get a little emotional. I'm even getting emotional telling you right now. I don't know if you can hear in my voice or not, but there are tears in my eyes. I don't know. Nothing to say. Just listen on. Well, I just dropped off my parents at the airport. And it really is like hit me. I'm out here on my own. Everyone I've grown up with, my family, they're not here. It's just me now. And I think there are a lot of cool lessons which I want to pull out when I sit down and do a podcast on this. So maybe that'll be right after this recording. I don't know. Because it really is really amazing to me that I'm literally living my dream. I have wanted to come out here for not even a whole year yet. But I knew I wanted to move to somewhere that had this kind of vibe, these kind of people around, and here I am. Like, I'm going to talk about manifesting. Like, this is fucking it. This is the manifesting. And there are goodbyes always involved in any hello. In any new growth, there's a grieving. And I'm so thankful for my life. I'm so thankful for the person I am today. I'm so thankful for the experiences that I'm getting to have right now. And also, at the moment, I am filled with a heavy heart. I've never lived more than 20 minutes, I guess, away from my parents. And never lived really outside of my hometown of Annapolis, Maryland. And here I am. So I'm thrilled to be here. Many new amazing adventures to come. And instead of escaping or trying to buffer it away, old me probably would have been like, all right, time to go get a drink. Let's ignore this, or let's go have an activity to distract my mind. The new me, the confident me, the me of today says, let's feel the sadness. Let's feel it all the way through, because it is truly a beautiful thing that we have the ability to feel an entire range of emotions as humans. And I want to feel sad today as I let go of, as I let go of my parents being physically nearby, and I say hello to a much more independent life of my own design. So yeah, that's it. Lesson, recording, whatever, concluded. I'm gonna go feel sad and enjoy feeling sad, and maybe cry and maybe not. I don't know. It's just me now, and it's pretty damn cool. I'm gonna miss my parents. I really love them, and I know that they really love me. After I dropped them off at the airport, I went home and just spent some time alone. I think Gideon was with me. I'm trying to remember exactly what. I believe I sat in my room for a bit and just felt. I felt all the sadness. I felt all the loss. I went for a walk. I do remember that specifically. I went for a walk, a little longer of a walk, maybe 15, 20 minutes out, and went up on this hill and saw this beautiful view all around me, and just sat there on the hill and soaked in the energy of the earth and of the sun, and was just so grateful for the past. I specifically thanked, spiritually speaking, right? Like I didn't actually call each of these people up, but I specifically thanked friends of mine from Maryland, situations from my upbringing, my family, and just all sorts of people from my past. I thanked them for being there, for being part of my community, for being part of my journey and my story, for being part of my growth. I so appreciate every single one of them. And you know who you are if you're listening now. If you've been part of my journey, you know it. And so I just appreciate you so much. Obviously, many of us will still stay in touch. Others of us will do like we always do when people move. We say we want to stay in touch and we don't, and that's okay. I love you. I adore you. I'm so thankful for your role in my life and honored to have a role in your life too. I really do want to just remind you, though, that this is how we get through anything and how we get the maximum lessons, I believe, out of life, is by being present with emotion. Both the amazing, good feeling emotion, even though often you want to rush on because you're afraid that it won't last, and then you make it not last as long as it could have lasted because you don't want to feel it at all, right? When things are feeling too good and you're like, oh no, this won't last forever. Yeah, that bullshit. So there's that, all right? And then there's also the pain that we feel. And especially with pain, you are practicing extending the limits you give to yourself to feel pain. Going on that walk and sitting there on that hill and just reflecting with gratitude really allowed me to feel the sadness, feel the loss, and go through that mourning process in a way that I believe is much faster than I ever would have had I immediately gone to distracting myself, either through like just hanging out with other people or drinking like I used to, or hopping on Grindr to find a hot hookup, I really did sit with those feelings. And then for the next few days, feelings would come up in waves, and I went on many walks that turns out to be one of my favorite ways to feel, because it allows me to just have no responsibilities around me. You know, if I'm not at my desk, I'm not working. If I'm not home, like I'm not doing anything, I'm not going to be cleaning or something, or preparing food or whatever. Like, going on a walk allows me to just be with myself. And so I really appreciate that. And I felt these things all the way through. And so what I want to just leave you with, today at the end of part 4 is a challenge to continually grow your comfort zone emotionally. So that means both allowing yourself to feel pleasure more fully instead of fearing and sitting in the fear and resisting it, fearing that it's going to end, and allow yourself to sit in the pain and feel it and know that ultimately you're not going to die. It just feels like shit. That's it. You will continually, the more you do that, increase your confidence, because you will prove over and over to yourself with this beautiful pile of evidence, wow, I am actually capable of feeling things that I didn't think I was capable of. Pain. And I am capable also of feeling pleasure I never thought I was worthy of feeling. When you expand your emotional boundaries, you also expand your life. Period. I'm leaving it right there for you today, Unicorn. Have an amazing week. Sending you big hugs, lots of love, and I'll see you on the next episode. If you enjoyed this episode, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend so they too can become more confident. You can also help more people find the show by leaving a 5-star review wherever you listen. And if you want to become a more confident queer with support from yours truly, head to CoachAlexRay.com or use the link down in the show notes. I'm looking forward to working with you.